Hi everyone, welcome back to the Aubergine Chef. This is day 2 of the holiday gift giving guide. Yesterday I released an episode, or a gift giving guide episode, on the 10 essential pieces of equipment for budding pastry chefs. Now today I'm going to do a little bit more general items. A lot of them I'm going to try and focus on small businesses or just hidden treasure kind of stuff like that. Now the blog post that's going to accompany this video is going to have a lot more items included on it because I'm going to do some research and find some more Etsy sellers that I like, and a lot of my friends are still looking up their Etsy sellers and stuff like that they like. Generally speaking, you can find a lot of good small business people on Etsy, so always check Etsy. You can search for terms on there. Before we get started, I do want to say that when it comes to the gift giving season, try to have a little bit more consciousness when it comes to your environmental impact. Now, I have an iPhone 3GS. As many of you know, we're an iPhone 5 or whatever. So I just, I'm going to use it until, the wheels fall off or whatever, whatever term you want to use, because I just know that it's going to end up in a landfill, or I could recycle it or sell it off or whatever, but it's less pressure for on the environment for new materials if I use this phone for as long as I possibly can. Now, if you buy new gadgets, that's fine. I'm not judging you because I obviously, I have some environmental impact. It's not hypocritical to do some things environmentally friendly and then not be so environmentally friendly on other things. As long as you're making efforts every day to be environmental, that's what's important. It's not an all or nothing thing. You don't have to be all not environmentally friendly or all environmentally friendly, because really, it's kind of impossible to be almost all one or almost all the other. So, now that we got that out of the way, and I will come back to it depending on what the items are, but now that I got that out of the way, we can go ahead and get started. Now the first two things I want to mention, I don't have on this table because I have them as MP3s. One of the things you can give this year is a gift of new music. You can actually feature indie artists or local music artists in your area and try to give them some more popularity and some more clout compared to artists like Taylor Swift, who are already really well known. Two examples that I like to use, and they've given me permission to use a 5 to 10 second clip that you'll hear. The first one is Tanya Hayward. I actually went to high school with her, and she is a singer-songwriter. She's similar to Taylor Swift, but a little bit more mellow. And so I'll just play a 5 to 10 second clip right now for you just to get a sample of what she has to offer.
Wake up, my dear, pick up the pace. It's time to leave your crumpled pillowcase.
So you can see that she's got a nice mellow tone. I really like her style. Her CD is available for $10. You can contact her through Facebook. The link is on the bottom of the screen. I'll also have it in the blog post. And the nice thing about contacting music artists directly is they get all the proceeds of the sale. If you contact them through some other service, the other service charges them a commission, so they lose some of that money. So they're not making as much money from the proceeds of the sale. Also, they can customize your gift. I spoke to Tanya, and she said that, she would be able to, send you autographed copies of her CD if that's what you wanted. And that's the kind of extra touch that small business people and local business people are able to offer. So if you can, go through your area and try to find local music artists. Now, I know I've pushed them a lot in the past, but my brother is also a very talented underground rap artist. Now, because he doesn't make his own beats, he can't really charge for his songs. So his songs, or his new album, which I think is like 12 tracks long, is available for free. You can find it on YouTube and on Bandcamp. But you can download it for free and burn it to a CD and give that as a gift. And that's a great gift for someone who's really interested in the urban scene or rap music, stuff like that, because he tries to rap with meaning. He has very poignant messages when he raps. He talks about social issues, and he makes it more relevant. And here's a 10-second clip of one of his pieces.
A child starving, but the heads are permanently turned. Burning deserted in the earth to feed the worms. Disorderly civilians, let's quarantine their millions. Sending mortar teams to torch regimes till the organs bleed for millions.
Now, he won't be able to send you an autographed copy or whatever, because again, he's not really supposed to sell it or anything like that, and I don't want him to commit to something where it's actually going to cost him money. But it would be great if you guys would help me promote his talent, because he really is a very talented rap artist. Again, you can listen to his music for free on YouTube. You can also download it for free on Bandcamp, and you can contact him through Facebook. So one of the other things that you can do for this holiday gift giving season for some of the people on your list is to support local bakers like myself and purchase not homemade, but handmade or handcrafted products. Now, Sabor, she's based out of California. She ships products. I talk about her a little bit in the blog post, but one of the things she makes is a cookie that's filled with dulce de leche filling, which just sounds amazing. It's a shortbread cookie, and she'll ship that to you across the country. Another baker is Brooke with Triple Oak Bakery. You may remember her from the gluten-free pie dough episode. She ships across the country, and she has lots of gluten-free options. And a lot of her, even though it's gluten-free, it's still really tasty because she still uses butter. She doesn't take anything else away. So definitely look her up if you have gluten-free people or people who have celiac disease on your list. You can also contact Sweet Intentions. She's actually in my direct area. She and I worked together at a previous bake shop. It's a mother and daughter team, and they do a lot of farm to table stuff. They use free range eggs. They try to source everything as locally as possible. During the summer, they make all their tarts from fruit from local farms and stuff like that. So if you're looking for baked goods, just let me know, and I'll put you in contact with them. Their link is on the screen as well. They'll be on my blog post as well. And you can, of course, a little plug for myself, is take some baking classes or pay for some baking classes or some other kinds of classes available at local community centers. If you can gift that to a friend or buy two tickets to that class, one for you, one for your friend, that's a great holiday gift because not only do you give somebody something, it's a gift that keeps on giving because then they learn something. So it's kind of like giving the gift of education. Just like memberships to the community center, baking classes, art classes, those kind of things. So now we're going to talk about the products on the table. So I'll just take off this decoration off the table, and I'm going to start with the art. So here is actually two pieces in one. The picture of the beagle is from one of my favorite more recent artists is Dean Russo. He does a lot of animal prints, but he's starting to do some famous people prints as well, where he just takes a picture and kind of does art to it. I don't know how else to put it. I'm not a very good artist. But when I got this print, it's really cheap for one because it doesn't ship it with a frame. But when I got the print, I wanted to put it in a picture frame that kind of stood out and made it look more like a conversation piece. So that's when I went on Etsy and I found All Buttoned Up by Tina, where she makes picture frames, letters, different kinds of household things, and she uses buttons. And she's got a really good eye for that kind of stuff. And it's just like it was really affordable and it was just really eye-catching. And I'm really happy with the combination. I could have gotten just a solid black frame and just been like a museum, but I wanted it to have more personality. I mean, it's my home. I want it to have character. Another artist that you can support is At the Drive-In. They're also on Etsy. They have some jewelry, but they specialize in dictionary art, and I don't know if you can see this. Hopefully you can. But what he does is he draws pictures of famous anime or famous video game characters, and then puts it on his computer, and then prints it out on old pieces of dictionary paper. And then I still have yet to get the picture frames because I'm saving up for the holiday season for other people's gifts instead of myself. But this would be a great gift. They're like $5 a piece, and it goes to help him pay for his college tuition. So again, you're helping out someone small, someone local. And if you want to be a little bit more handy, take more time, make them a little bit more personal, what you can do is make your friends a cookbook instead of purchasing one. Now, what I like to do for my recipes is I'll take my recipes and I will print them out and put them in plastic sheet protectors that keeps flour and water and oil and stuff like that. You can just wipe it right off and it makes them last a lot longer. Now, if you drop your binder and binder pops open, they will fly everywhere. So just keep that in mind. But they do last a lot longer. And you just use a regular 3-ring binder. And what you can do is you can go to your favorite blogs, like the Aubergine Chef, and print out the recipes and put them in the binder. You can also print out the blog posts, because oftentimes food bloggers will have information in the blog post itself about their experience with the recipe. It's just something to make it a little bit more customizable, a little bit more personal for your friend. And of course, you could use dividers to divide up the sections. Because this is a completely pastry binder, I break it up: dough, creams, cakes, cookies. I make it pretty unique. But if you're doing something more on the savory end, you might have to use fewer or more dividers depending on where you're going. Speaking of cookbooks, if you do get cookbooks, again, think about your environmental impact. I get a lot of my cookbooks used from a local used book shop called McKay's Used Books. I think it's called Richard McKay's Used Books. I think that's their full name. There's also a place in Old Town Manassas called Prospero's Books. They have a lot more literature than cookbooks, but they still do have some cookbooks. And the thing is, a lot of cookbooks wind up in used bookstores, and they're like basically virtually untouched. I mean, think about it. How many people go through an entire cookbook and make every single recipe? I have so many cookbooks where I've only pulled 1 or 2 recipes out, because I have plenty of recipes at work. It's just sometimes I just look for 1 or 2 more recipes. So go to a used bookstore, put less environmental pressure for new materials, and get a used book. Then you can get like 20 books because each book will cost you a fraction of what a new book will cost you. Now, if you're worried about getting a new book, or getting a used book instead of a new book as a gift, just think about like you can get them more variety. You can get them like a beer book. You can get them like a cat encyclopedia. All their interests, you can get them all together as opposed to just getting like 1 or 2 books and being like, oh, that's it for this year. And a lot of used bookstores will also have used video games and used DVDs. If I got 5 used DVDs instead of just 1 DVD, I think I'd be really happy about it, even if it was used, because I'm just getting more for your buck and I'm getting basically more to open up for the holidays. So again, think about getting used books. Some books that I recommend for a baker or for someone who's interested in food science. Here's one. It's called The Food Lover's Companion. Now, it's my book, so I still have the tag on it, so obviously you want to take the tag off. But The Food Lover's Companion is basically a food dictionary. It's kind of like the Leroux's Gastronomique. I can't pronounce that. It's a French word. But it basically has a lot of definitions for common things that, you may not realize what they are. So, it's very handy. Of course, you can get it for your iPhone or your iPad. So that way when you're traveling, you go to a restaurant like, I don't know what this is. You can look it up on your iPhone, if you can't Google it, of course. But this is just a really fun, handy resource to have available. One of my favorite books from school was How Baking Works. It's by Paula Figoni, and it's basically a very handy food science book. It basically touches on all the areas of food science. It does so in a very generalistic way, so that way you get a good grasp on all the concepts, but it still gives you a good starting point on how you can change your recipes and what you can do with them. For a more in-depth food science book, you can get On Food and Cooking by Harold McGee. This is basically like a jumbo-sized version of How Baking Works. And so it's a little bit more technical, so I definitely recommend it for more advanced readers. But again, if you're interested in food science, I highly recommend this book. Going back to food and edibles, I had this on the table. I recently discovered Coco Bella. She's based out of Boston, Virginia, so it's very local. What she does is she takes different blends of cocoa and makes her own brewing cocoa. How brewing cocoa is different than hot cocoa is, this is actually it's almost like tea, really. It's like chunks of cocoa as opposed to like dissolved cocoa powder or however. So it's got a much more intense chocolate flavor, and it's just much more elegant tasting. And usually a bag like this, I can't even imagine how many cups it makes. It's a ton of cups, because of course you can rebrew a previous batch if it's still fresh. But a bag like this costs about $18, and she does ship. She's working on getting some shipping available for the holidays. And again, going back to some used stuff, especially for food bloggers in your family, or just people who are feeling a little bit more artsy, you can go to a store, like a second-hand store or consignment shop, and buy a whole bunch of plates. Get them all, a lot of people have a thing where all the plates have to match, but how cool would it be if everybody had a unique plate? So that way it's kind of like a conversation piece. You can get square plates, and again, they're really handy for food bloggers who have to take pictures of their food, because it gives them a different backdrop, it gives them a different option, so that way each picture looks unique. And plates are really inexpensive, especially if you get them on clearance or if you get them at consignment shops, because they're like $1, $2, maybe $5 if you're getting them a little fancier a piece. Now, if you're looking for apparel, of course you can support me and go to Zazzle.com and buy one of my Aubergine Chef shirts with my new logo on it from Imagine Design. Thank you, Imagine Design. Or you can support one of my favorite brands, Johnny Cupcakes. They were a huge inspiration for me when I was in school. They're just a really fun logo, against obviously inspiration for my logo. And what's really neat about Johnny Cupcakes, they're made in USA, they're sweatshop free. And what's really cool about Johnny Cupcakes is that they retire designs. So you won't be able to go on Johnny Cupcakes nowadays and get this design. But they always have new designs, and their classic design, the white cupcake against a black backdrop, is almost always available. Finally, there's one, I guess it's considered a big business item that I have to recommend. It's just like this little brewing, or I guess they called it Infusion Kettle. It's great for infusing, steeping, I should say, loose leaf teas, and of course the brewing cocoa, because the top comes off and you can take this part, and it's a very fine mesh. It's finer than most, it's fine like a tea ball. And so like what I've been using lately was basically just a fine sieve, but it wasn't very fine. It wasn't fine enough for like the brewing cocoa, so I was still having little pieces in it. So it's just really handy. The ceramic keeps it warm, and it was $9.99 at Macy's, and I think it's 16 ounces actually, 16 or 18 ounces. So a really cheap gift, a great housewarming gift, or a great gift for yourself. Alright, so that's pretty much my basic gift guide for the video. Again, on my blog post, I'm going to have a way more items listed and more suggestions, more links to connect stuff on. You can also check my Pinterest page. I'll have some gifts. Most of the gifts will be for myself because I'm using it as my Christmas wish list this year. But just general ideas. I hope this gave you some more ideas to think outside the box. You know, check out your Etsy sellers, check out your local people, check out local music artists and talents, and see what's available, and make it a little bit more personal. Help your local economy out. Help someone out who's small business like myself, and help boost them up to getting the success that, you know, Taylor Swift has, that like Macy's has. So anyway, I hope you have a happy holidays. Part 3 for my gift giving guide, handcrafted gifts, will be out tomorrow, and I hope to see you then.